Um, First thing, as promised, I shared the conscious texting with CB. So I want to announce conscious texting here on live. It is called conscious texting because I feel we are already so much on our phones, and I do not want this to become another addiction for you or me. So we want to keep it conscious. We want to keep it mindful, deepening, meaningful for everyone. The purpose of conscious texting is that I can reach out to you as I would reach out to a friend. If there's a quick thought in my mind, if hey Rashveer, no problem, I'm going to save this video so you can always watch it later, but I hope you're doing well. So conscious texting is really all about you know having a space for you and me to share a thought, a question, a concern. I've always said my biggest teachers, my biggest inspirations have been you guys. So it really felt that now I need to have that conscious texting platform with all of you. And unfortunately, it's only available between United States and Canada. So right now, the students in USA and Canada can text me, and I'm going to announce the number here, Lindy, and I'll put the number on podcast, on Instagram. It will be officially live from today onward. And yeah, the purpose is to just reach out to you for any life lesson, anything that I would need to share with you, and you can reply, and I will respond back. So let me start with sharing the number. And you would find it funny, but I do not remember my phone numbers. My primary number, I have learned it, but I'm terrible in remembering the phone numbers. I'm just not a phone person. um, so the number is 310-361-5485. Text me how was this live talk once this is over, and I'll repeat it: 310-361-5485. That's one announcement. Second announcement is Shivratri is coming on Thursday night. Shivratri means the night of higher consciousness. I feel it is not a religious night. I feel it's not the night for just the ones who meditate, but I feel it's for anyone who is a conscious seeker in their life. I feel it's for everyone who are looking for that deepening, that outlet. Daniela, listen to this one. This will be very powerful for you. I saw your question, and I feel this is going to be very powerful. So Shivaratri is the night of what the person we call Adi Yogi, the first guru, the first teacher, or one of the first yogis, one of the first teachers to really share the tantra. The quality of Shiva is there is immense healing present in the energy of Shiva. And don't be surprised if you fall sick in India and you go to doctor, and after they give you medication, the doctor may even tell you, chant the Shiva mantra for your mental health, because his energy is considered very powerful for mental strength. We all store up a lot of emotions within, the stories, the narratives, the roles that we play. We store that within our own heart, within our own navel center. The nights like Shivratri or the rituals like Navratri, Tantra has plenty of rituals which can enable you to just crack open that place where you're not able to release the healing. You're not able to release that suppressed energy. Imagine there's a pipeline in your house and the water is stuck forever. What's going to happen? It's going to attract mosquitoes, insects, bugs, tons of crazy stuff. But if someone can crack open that pipeline, then you would experience a much clear water flow, and it's going to be hygienic. That's what these rituals really start to do. They enable the healing, because healing is not a race. You don't need to run anywhere to experience it. Healing is really, the act of being available. And I always say, you don't need me for meditation. You don't need me for, guidance. You If I have any role to play in your life, it's to remind you to become available to what you already have. Be available to what's already yours. That's what my role really is, for you guys. So I'm here to remind you again, be available to that infinite consciousness. Shiva means the infinite consciousness. And I shared the podcast last week, and tomorrow, or by Wednesday midnight, we will be releasing the guided meditation for Shivratri as well. So you should listen to that meditation, listen to Shivratri in depth, and then we could really start talking about the powerful stuff. And I just realized I'm using a different filter. It's making my eyes look different. I didn't realize it's going to change my eye color. So just so you know, this is not how my eyes look. I used that filter because the light was not so great, and I thought that filter is giving great light. And now I look like a bit of alien, and I don't know how to change that filter. But I guess this is the price I have to pay to come live after so long on my page, because I'm very trying to be consistent on Leela, but not coming live here. Okay, Daniela, I'm just going to read your question. I want to know, how can I start getting rid of negative thoughts and start high vibes? I feel I am in darkness now. So, one thing I want to tell you, and this is for everyone, do not try to get rid of anything. Don't try to get rid of negative thoughts. Do not get infatuated with the high vibe. And if you feel you are in darkness, don't try to run away from there. Don't try to, bypass that darkness or that negative thought, because, a thought is a thought. It is what it is. Our mind gives interpretation to the thoughts. Our mind starts to put a narrative on the thoughts. And the tantra or the meditation traditions would say that if you could be a witness, the Sanskrit word is sakshi bhav, if you could be a witness to the thoughts coming and going, that's what you need to do. Spirituality or spiritual growth is not the growth in watching colors in meditation. It's not the growth in chanting mantras in a certain way. It's not a growth in able to read, the mind of people or seeing more signs out there. Spiritual growth is the growth of being a witness. Right now, whatever is happening, be a witness to that experience. Be a witness to how this energy is unfolding in you. Because, we do not have a good or comfortable relationship with darkness. We associate darkness with negativity, with heaviness, with stress, depression, anxiety, fear, confusion. But darkness is as much of normal essence of you as light is. But if you get very attracted toward light, you would have problems with darkness. What I suggest is, do not have this one dimensional relationship with light, but instead start to understand that you are made of darkness and light. Shivratri, by the way, is the night to really understand, witness, and honor the darkness within you. That's why it's a night ritual. And darkness here does not mean any, crazy, suppressed, heavy, toxic energy. Darkness here really means the energy that, that's part of you, the energy that has always been part of you. That's what the darkness really means here. And I feel the journey of meditation is to really be a witness to the darkness. And I've done plenty of podcasts on really understanding the darkness, really understanding the journey, the journey between the light and the dark. And I know I have some questions sent by you. Let me see if I can find the questions here. So there's one question I'm going to read. How can we discern between authentic gurus and faux gurus? This is a question I get asked a lot: how to really differentiate between the right guru and the wrong guru. You know, uh, and I've answered it in many ways. I, in fact, have a chapter on gurus in my book, Break the Norms. Uh, but the book is 4 years old now, or maybe 5 years old now, and I think so much has shifted, in the guru culture now. But one thing I'll say, instead of focusing on the gurus, on the outward, first witness within you what kind of gurus you are attracted toward. When we are in school, what kind of friends you become attracted toward. The high school culture is that anyone who's popular, you want to be their friend. Anyone who's good looking, attractive, you want to be their friend, you want to be around them. And I feel, second thing is, we like people, we like things, material objects which make us look good, which make us feel good. Nothing wrong with it, right? I wouldn't wear a t-shirt that doesn't make me look good in my eyes. So I will choose my clothes to that make me look good, and we all do that, nothing wrong. But when you start choosing your teachers, your gurus, who make you feel good, who never make you uncomfortable, that becomes a problem, because we start to choose the people and experiences that only convince us of our own illusion. I feel, some of the greatest artists start to have a downfall when there are too many yes men around them, when too many people simply keep saying yes to whatever their ideas and the stories are. So I feel, be ready to be uncomfortable in that journey of growth. I can tell you, in my journey as a student of consciousness, as a student of Tantra, there were many moments when I felt uncomfortable, when I felt challenged, when my ego, my fear, my doubts became much bigger than me, and I would look for the comfort zone. But the right guru will keep, tapping you gently, and if you need tough love, they'll give you tough love, because the point is, it's a new birth. It's a journey where you almost have to be born again. This is the reason why in Eastern traditions your names are changed after you become the spiritual teacher, because the old has to be shed off. So any teacher who makes you, who brings courage, clarity, self-awareness, and above all, spiritual independence in you, that's the teacher I feel you would go with. But it's not a very straight path. There are going to be plenty of challenges, because if you are seeking a guru, the reality is, you are already going through a lot of questions, curiosity, maybe you're trying to heal the trauma. So there's a lot going on already for you. And I feel, you really need to be ready to be fully aware of your trauma, your narrative, the stories of your mind, so that they do not become an obstacle in this path. But the teacher, the mentor, the guru, they are needed. Without them, you could keep on experimenting, and it may work, it may not. It's like educating yourself without a teacher, without going to school. It may happen, but it will be tough. And above all, you just have to be very, very honest, brutally honest with yourself. And I know some other people also send questions, so keep writing your questions, and I'm going to try to answer as many as I can. And there were two set of questions that I shared, and I'm not able to access the questions that I shared yesterday, maybe because the timer is over. That happened before 24 hours, so I'm not able to read those questions now. And I'm reading if there is any specific, what's the purpose of nightmares? Interesting. First of all, I think, the nightmares or the uneasy dreams have increased for many of us in the past 1 year. And if that happened with you, if you are one of them for whom the dreams became or multiplied, let me know in the comments, and I'll tell you why in the last 1.5 year the dreams have really multiplied for all of us, and that does include nightmares. So first of all, dreams come in all flavors, all narratives. One dream is the dream. I'm talking about the people who do not meditate or who meditate on and off. If we do not meditate, if we are not into self-reflective, the dreams will reflect our psyche. The dreams will reflect our subconscious. I believe I shared about this in one of my podcasts. I know someone who always had dreams about his father, very violent dreams about the father. But if you look at them, they have very great, friendly relationship, as father and son. But they would have violent dreams. The son would have violent dream about the father. So I always felt there is something wrong between his relationship with the father, but something wrong within the subconscious. He's not processing something or not accepting something. And guess what? He has been through very significant relationships in the past 10 to 12 years. And they all did not work out because of the dynamic between the father and son. And I spoke to all the partners, and they all pointed out one thing, that his relationship with his father is not good, and that interferes in our relationship. And plenty of significant relationships did not work out. And that took me to the time when he first shared that he has violent dreams about his father. So many of our dreams are simply a subconscious reflection of what's happening here. We suppress our sexual energy, we suppress our fundamental expressions, we suppress the forgiveness, the need to be forgiven, the need to forgive. We suppress the most fundamental emotions, and guess what? They show up in the dreams. And if you notice, if you have a specific thought pattern right before you sleep, that becomes your thought pattern right after you wake up in the morning. And secondly, throughout the night, you may have those stories, those dreams showing up. And in the past 1.5 years, the dreams multiplied for many of us because we are part of this collective consciousness. And as part of this collective consciousness, guess what is happening? I am reacting to the energy around me. You are reacting to energy around you. And I know it became so important, almost like mandatory for me to show up for my meditation in the last year, because even if I skip a day, I would feel the heavy collective, darkness, anxiety around me. And I never had dreams the way I had last year. It was the first time in my life I had series of dreams which were uncomfortable, random, didn't make sense, illogical, going all over the place. But there was one thing common, and that thing was the heaviness of LA where I lived. The heaviness of energy, or not just LA, wherever I have been in the past 1.5 years, if there was heavy, suppressed, dark energy, something in my, my eyes are not green. I chose a bad filter. So I don't know how to change it. So just deal with the Chandresh who has green eyes just for today. Coming back to, or think it's a dream, because we are talking about dreams. And I'm trying not to look at myself because I feel I'm looking at a twin brother with different eyes. Anyway, coming back to dreams. I never had this series of dreams, and it was crazy. And I was sharing this with a student yesterday, that my guru, he called me and he said, "Is there something crazy happening where you live?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Because I don't think you have been sleeping properly." I said, "I've been sleeping on and off, but I've been having some illogical dreams and longer dreams. It seems like the dreams are happening all night." And, it was just the subconscious reacting with everything around. So if you are having, heavy dreams, I would recommend, first of all, do not consume much information after 8 p.m. Sleep early. Eat food that's light on stomach. Meditate, of course. But also process your emotions, process your emotions. really mindfully, honestly. That will help for sure. And I know there are questions coming up, so I don't know how to say your name, but Regina, maybe, right? Regina, why does bad exist? And I like how you put the bad in the quote. The good and bad has always existed. They will continue to exist. I was reading a story yesterday when Buddha was giving his talk. There would be people coming to his talks and they would spit on him. Imagine now, if someone as beautiful, as compassionate like Buddha is giving a spiritual talk, and someone comes and throw a shoe at him or spit at him, how terrible. But that happened a lot. The darkness and the light, the calmness and chaos, the good and bad, the right and wrong will always exist together. They will always. Um, what we need to do is define our relationship with the chaos around us. If you can manage and define your relationship with the chaos around you, that will help you to make sense of why the bad happens and what can you do about it. Also, I feel people nowadays feel a lot of pressure to speak about the bad, and sometimes they don't connect with that bad situation, but they feel the need to just put something out there about it, but only because everyone is doing it. So it's really coming back to your honest responses to life, what is happening, but also understand why this particular situation is bad, because what might be good for me may be bad for someone else in a different culture, and that happens a lot. The cultural differences, the good and bad, the right and wrong is always divided, but there are certain universal things that are just terrible, right? Murder, rape, attack on innocent people, poverty. I mean, these are just plain terrible things, and I don't even want to bring any terrible spiritual interpretation on it, because they're just plain bad, just terrible. But I'm talking about certain other things that might be labeled as bad for you but great for someone else. And we really need to understand how do I define my bad and how do I define my good. um, and I would recommend, my friend, do not live life with this black and white dimension. Live life with where you can honor and understand all seasons of life for yourself. Because if you only honor, or if you only want to attract one dimension or one season of life, that would not go well. And I think this is where a lot of people start to go wrong, when they want to embrace only one season of life, when they want to embrace only the good vibes. Do not put yourself in that situation, because you will not be able to get out of that bubble. The positive thinking culture, the good vibes only culture, it's not helping us to gain our strength. It's actually creating a very interesting illusion around us, where we feel that if it's not positive, I am stepping out, I am guarding myself. But sometimes you do need to experience what you may not call positive or good vibe, because life is not always going to be good vibes. Life is not always going to be the perfect mantra of positive thinking. And it's a matter of you really embracing who you are and what seasons define you. Understand your seasons, play with your elements. You could be introvert, you could be expressive, you could be shy, you could be just very friendly or not friendly, but do not suppress or hold back anything. Bring your expression out. I think of all the students I work with, one thing that I truly want for each one of them, and when that happens, I feel okay, at least a major part of my effort is succeeded. And that part is when they start to express themselves. You need to create a safe space for others and for yourself, but let people around you express who they are, as long as they express mindfully, with awareness. And sometimes the anger is so suppressed that we are not able to express mindfully, and that's fine. But understand these things from a very deep, compassionate point of view, because that's just how life is designed to be lived. Okay, let me see. So Lindy says, besides meditation, is there any ritual that helps with Shivratri? And the green eyes are cute. I'm glad you feel that, but it's crazy. When I look at myself, but it's, I guess it is what it is. Is there any ritual that helps with Shivratri? I mean, if I talk about rituals, there are so many and so deep, and that's why I'm not even going there, because you know first of all, to perform these rituals you need a certain ingredient, certain instrument, certain tools. One of the important thing about Shivratri is Shivlingam. So if I start talking about Shivlingam, and maybe many of you may not have Shivling or Shivlingam, that will create doubt or fear in you that I do not even have the proper stuff. So don't worry about it. Rituals are great, we should be indulging in rituals, but also understand that these dimensions, these energies are abundant, they are generous. There is no conditional relationship that you have with these energies. So I think for this Shivratri, just allow yourself to be fully available. Maybe this Shivratri is all about planting the intention to have that new beginning in your sadhana, in your spiritual journey. And the reason I'm not bringing all the complex information out there, because Instagram or even podcast does not really give that depth of space that I want to share. But good thing is Leela will be the space. Leela Gurukul, those who are unaware, I've been working on an online spiritual school, and I have very exciting information about that, by the way. In that school, or through that school, I'll be able to share visuals, images, videos about these rituals. And my hope and plan is that I film complete ritual of Shivratri for you, and Navratri, and all these tantra rituals that you can watch, learn, and repeat wherever you are. So hopefully that will take away all of these guessing games. So for this Shivratri, don't worry, meditate, show up for your work, show up for your conscious purpose, and just flow with it. Angie, hey Angela, what's up? Do you have any advice on how to transmute anger into a higher frequency? A lot of advice, because that's one of the first things I really started to work on myself. I've shared this plenty of times that I've been angry and hyper kid as a teenager. I would always get into trouble in school, and I'm thinking of my friend Lucas. He always says that when you talk about your anger, you make it sound like you were a gangster as a teenager. And I used to think I'm a gangster, but when you think of it, it's silly, it's terrible, it's silly, it's embarrassing, because when you're a teenager, or when you are that young dude in your early 20s, you think you know it all, and you start being proud of that aggression and anger, but doesn't take you anywhere. So Angie, the truth is, if I always say this, if you get angry, it's a good thing, it's normal. If you never get angry, see a doctor, see a therapist. If you never get angry, because anger is normal. The emotion of anger is okay, it's natural. What's not normal, or what's not natural, is when this anger starts to call the shots on everything, when this anger ruins your relationships, when this anger ruins all the creativity you're putting out there. That's when you should be worried. I think one of the personalities coming to my mind who really managed and channeled the anger really well is Dalai Lama, and even Mahatma Gandhi. uh, let's take example of Dalai Lama, because he's alive and he's there, and you can still watch him and read his work. So I remember going to Dharamsala, where Dalai Lama lives, and that's my, it's close to my hometown. And Dalai Lama said something really beautiful. He said, I was kicked out from my country. I have been living in India forever. My people were uprooted from their homes, from their family. And as their leader, I couldn't give them back their homes. And every single day they wake up with a hope and they look at me that maybe I'll be able to bring back the freedom that Tibet deserves. But it didn't happen. And he said that could be the worst thing that could happen to a human, and it could make me very angry, and I could be the most angry person that you know. And if you see Dalai Lama, he's not an angry person. He smiles, he has great jokes, he's funny, he's great, and he's so generous that he wrote the foreword for my first book. I'll never forget his greatest, sweetest gesture, because it changed everything about my book and how I see my work. And he's not an angry man, but he has channeled his anger towards something very productive, very powerful. He's changing lives of so many and not choosing the battle, the political battle, but choosing a very important work instead. So one thing I want you to do is accept your anger, that anger exists. Don't bypass it. Don't label it as good or bad. Just witness the anger. Number two, ask yourself if you are really expressing your anger deeply, because we do not express our anger fully. We hold back our emotions. And if you hold back the anger, you will hold back the love also. You will hold back many other emotions as well. And the reason we do not express our anger fully, because we are told always anger is not good. And when we get angry, we are partially angry. There's a lot of anger within. Just like, I think if you see this, the tiger, he's so angry. We are not angry like animals, right? If you see a lion or dog or a cat, they don't hold back the anger. Like, look at a little child, of 2 years, 1 year, they don't hold back the anger. Adults are so corrupted, like we are so corrupted, we hold back the anger. And one thing I've noticed in life, the people who truly get angry, they are the people who can also love fully, because expressing the anger fully can also open the outlet to love fully. And you know what's the opposite of anger? If you transmute anger, that's compassion. And that's why Gandhi, Buddha, these people, and there are many others, they were filled with anger for many reasons, but their prime quality became compassion, because that's what happens. And the question of how to transmute it has to happen through meditation, but also action. So meditate consistently. Every time you meditate, raise the energy from the navel to the heart. Navel to heart, that's the challenge. That's like channel and the challenge, because we store a lot of anger and anxiety around stomach, around the navel. So when you breathe in, witness, pause, and raise the awareness from the navel to the heart, and start to witness what creative, conscious outlets I can give to my anger. I have spoken about it on my podcast, that the work I have done, it could be podcast, could be Break the Norms, could be Leela. They were not born out of some creative mission. They were born out of the anger I was holding within about the craziness of spiritual, spiritual work happening out there. And, I was a teenager when the thought of Break the Norms first came to my mind. And every single day I would be just angry seeing the way spirituality was being taught. And when I left Wall Street for the same reason, that I wanted to contribute something toward the right space of spirituality. And before I left Wall Street, I was very angry within, because I felt it felt very personal. It felt that the work of the gurus, masters, and teachers, it's not honored. It's misused, it's mistaught. And if people don't speak about it, then it will just keep getting terrible. And I realized me getting angry is not going to change anything. I was angry, I would talk about it. And even now when Facebook, shares the old memories, give me a moment. I've been talking too much. Uh, so I realized me being angry is not going to change anything. The big elephants, the big brands out there, it won't change even, 0.5% for them. Nothing will change. And I realized by being angry, I'm only depleting my creativity. And being a student of Tantra, I knew that, understanding my anger has been such a great, powerful, enlightening moment. And why don't I channel my anger toward the state of spirituality, into creating something, uh, conscious, productive, meaningful. And that's how the idea of break the norms happened. And in the past 10 years, as you can see, the craziness in spirituality has expanded, multiplied, and it's multiplying every day. And it still makes me angry. But every time I see an Instagram post, or if a student of mine send me something crazy about, the modern teachers, I get upset. It makes me very uneasy, very uncomfortable. And instead of fighting with that, giant, darkness, I reflect within. I said, okay, if they are doing what they want to do, what am I doing? Am I going to write an angry post on Instagram and get some comments and be happy about it? Is that going to change anything? No. And I don't want to be here for the praises and compliments, or useless debates on social media. I want to contribute something that can truly help me and others to be on this path in a more authentic way. So I ask myself, if they are doing crazy stuff about tantra or spirituality, what am I doing? Am I doing something right? Am I doing something conscious? And if not, it's the time to do it. So it's really, Angie, it's really the question of witnessing your anger, pausing and then witnessing the root of your anger, and then asking yourself, what's the conscious creative outlet I can give to my anger? And also be very honest about the root of your anger. Um the root of our anger has to be very much understood, because if you do not understand from where this anger is coming, you may not be able to fully solve it. And I want to mention someone here. I don't know her, holistic psychologist, but her work is something I've recommended to many people, and they have benefited from it. So I would recommend, just look up on Instagram, and she has a book out in few days. And I truly respect her for the work she's putting out there, and I think her work will benefit you. So her Instagram handle is the holistic psychologist, and if you look up Amazon, you can actually get her book. It released today, I think, but I think her work will reflect a lot of light for your question also. And we have just 5-7 minutes, and I want to pick if there's any question that I missed. Um, so Regina says, I'm a bit confused because I feel confused about the old ancient self-realization path in traditional yoga, but nowadays it seems like it doesn't work. What's your opinion about this? The it's a very broad question, Regina, because the funny thing about Eastern tradition is there's no one text, right? There are countless scriptures, countless teachers, and countless interpretations of everything. So I remember I read this Eastern text where I didn't like how they were not objectified, but they made it very, the text was very patriarchal text. It was very clear the men are superior and the women have to serve the men who are on the path of sadhana. And it came from a very profound teacher, and it was part of my assignment in high school, like from my guru, to read the teacher's work. And I told my guru, I said, I'm sorry, I cannot read this man, because the way he talks about women, it's not he's not insulting them, he's writing in a very sweet and polite way, but what he's writing is terrible. It's shameful that it's coming from such a profound person. So I never read his work after that, although uh, you know his work has a lot of authority in the field of yoga. So you have to pay attention to what you're reading. If you're picking only one book and considering that as your school, you might be disappointed, because it's very vast, very multidimensional. Like within Tantra, there is a Ghor Tantra, Shiva Tantra, Shakti Tantra. There's like multiple Gorakhnath's Tantra. I mean, there are plenty of schools within Tantra itself. So, invest your energy in learning the deeper work, the deeper stuff. And I can tell you the traditional path absolutely works, but it needs some discipline. It needs some deep study, but they work. But also indulge yourself in the teachings. Indulge yourself in voices of various teachers that can bring some clarity to you. But the traditional path works for sure. And hey, Nanu, Vishal, Jamatadi, how are you? So good to see you. Uh, and yeah, I mean, traditional paths, they worked and they will work, but you just got to make sure you're not stuck on just one teacher. Eventually you need one teacher, but as a trainer, as a beginner, you should be exposing your mind to many other voices also. And because we have only few minutes, I want to share greatest update on Leela. So Leela Gurukul is the online spiritual school that I've been working on. And I think it's safe to say that by the end of this month, today's March 9th, by the end of this month, you should be able to apply for Leela. The applications will be open by the end of this month. And once that starts, I think that will be such a great community. It's by applications only in the beginning, because we really want to cultivate a very mindful, authentic, deep work there. It's the kind of space where I truly feel that we can grow together as a conscious community. And I hope that serves you and it inspires me to show up for you. But it's hopefully by the end of this month, the community will be open for application, and from next month onward, we should be having live experiences on Leela. And yeah, that's the major update. But I'll wait for you to join Leela on Instagram and sign up on leelagurukul.com, because the applications will be there, not on Instagram. So definitely join that. And Sarma, I am also excited for Leela so much. Hi, Carol. Thank you for listening, for being here. There were plenty of obstacles to join the Instagram, but I had made up my mind that I want to be live today and I want to make it consistent. I don't even want to say that I'll be live every week, but that's the goal, that's the plan, that I'm live every week, because I think this interaction I have is so heartwarming. And I don't want to miss on that. I really enjoy and cherish the lovely messages, the questions that you all send, because it's because of you that I was actually able to plant the seeds for Leela. Otherwise, I would not have been even the circus of spirituality is so crazy that I would have never dared to plan something like Leela, because the big players just eat you up, and I'm aware of it, and I was like, it's not even worth it. But when I started seeing your dedication, your devotion, your love to go deeper, and I thought, okay, I think people are ready for Leela. I think I'm ready for Leela. So it looks like there's a tribe who will enjoy Leela. So that's why it's coming out. So just thank you, Melissa, Kavita, Bella, Regina. Thank you everyone for being here, for listening. And I will see you hopefully in another few days. And of course on Sunday morning for the live meditation on Leela. And it's all good. Be safe. Take good care of yourself. Lots of love to everyone.